All right, guys. If I were to tell you this was not a pain in the ass, I would be lying to you, and that wouldn't be fair to you. So I'm gonna be honest, it is. All right, welcome back. Hope everyone's having a great day. Today, for 2011 Ford Edge, we're going to change the alternator, and I'm about to show you how to do that. So we're just going to go ahead and cut right into the video. First thing, pop the hood. You don't need to worry about jacks or anything like that. When you get your hood open and propped, you're going to take off this cover. So these little plugs right here, they just pop right off. 1, 2, you can just leave them like that. And then just kind of pull it up out of there, just like a foam cover. It's going to help maximize your clearance for getting this task done. Right down there is your alternator. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I take the steps to do it. We got to worry about getting this harness loose. There's little plastic inserts in here that just kind of hold it there. Going to have to get some hoses out of the way. So it's honestly not too bad of a job. I'm going to take off this reservoir, so I'm going to walk you guys through it. First thing you want to do is disconnect your negative terminal. Alright, for this negative terminal you're going to need a 10mm. It'll be this nut right here. It's kind of got like a slope shape to it. As you tighten it, it brings that slope in and pulls it tighter. When you loosen it, it just does the reverse effect. Loosen it, just go and pull it off and set it off to the side. Alright, for the next step, we're going to remove this reservoir. It's okay, you don't have to fully drain it. Leave the main tube right here connected. We're going to go ahead and pop this tube off, and then we're going to take out this 1, 2, you got 2 8mm. I'm going to pull those out, that way we can, and right here, it's connected to your windshield washer fluid reservoir. So you're going to pop these 3 off, remove this hose, that way we can get this out of the way so we can have more clearance down there. Alright, what I like to do for good practice is put all the screws right back where I got them. So right here and right here, and then screwed into this. That way you don't lose them, you don't have to worry about which ones go where. Okay, now that that's loose, we'll end up coming back to that. That's going to help us in the future. So the next thing we got to do, basically, we're going to have to take out these radiator fans. I know it stinks, but we're going to have to do that just to get access to even get that out. So first step, you're going to want to follow this harness. You see these little white plastic tabs. Get you a tool like this. It's a trim panel tool. If you don't have anything like this, some channel locks, stuff like that, that'll work. Basically what you want to do is get behind here, and you're going to want to pull that out. And right up here is the sensor. You're going to want to unplug that. What we're wanting to really do is just kind of free up this wire harness, because that's going to have to be pulled up and kind of out of the way here. So go through and pop all these off. Right, and just like that, there was 1, 2 right here. 1. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4 was right over here, right on that bracket. So once you get that pulled loose, unplug that. Next is going to be your intake. You're going to want to unplug your MAF sensor. Underneath there's a red tab. This one's damaged, so I'll show you when I get it off. But right under here's a red tab. You're going to pull that out, and then you can press that button underneath it and then pop that off. Once you unhook that, 8mm right back here, or a flathead screwdriver. Just turn this, it'll loosen that clamp. Then you have 1, 2, and then you should be able to pull it all off. Okay, here's the underside of that. This is what I was talking about. So this red tab, I already pulled it out. If yours wasn't damaged or tampered with, it'll actually come out to about right here, and then it'll have a little lip on it so where you can get it with your nail or something, and you're going to pull it out. It's already pulled out. See how it pushes in? When it's pushed in, you can't push in that thing and pull out the plug. So again, yours might be actually better, but see, this one's damaged. So pulled that out, and right after that, push right here, and then it'll pull out just like so. And then you're going to want to set this off to the side. Try not to damage any of that. That's your MAF sensor. They can be pretty pricey. You shouldn't damage it, but keep that off to the side. Then next, go ahead and pop this out, because we're going to have to make some room. Okay, right under here, you have two more 8mm. That is for an air dam from in here. It brings in fresh air into the air box and then goes into the motor. So 8mm, 8mm, and then you got a couple, they're like plastic tabs that go into like some rubber grommets. So they're just gonna pull out, but you're gonna have to probably use a little bit of force, but it'll come out. No bolts or screws for this. Like that. These are what I'm talking about right here. Got two of them. You'll see the little grommets in there. Make sure the rubber grommets are in there. Right here. So once you get this out, put this off to the side. All right, once you gain access to this, again, right here, probably bad lighting, but right here is another one of these. You'll pop that out back there. That should be your last one. Now, these are the ballast for your radiator fans. So right behind it on this side is going to be that press tab. You're going to want to press that in and give it some shakes and unplug it. There, at that point, you're about as free as you're going to be as far as this harness. So the next step, I want to prevent taking off the top coolant hose. That way we don't have to worry about bleeding it and stuff like that, or adding coolant. So I take this coolant hose. It usually rests right inside here. It just kind of holds it there. So take this coolant hose and pull it right over that oil thing, your oil spout and oil cap. Okay, it's not under an immense amount of tension or nothing like that, but it is keeping it up out of the way so you can gain access to that. Plus, it keeps it away from these fans, because again, we're extracting those. So now that hose is up and out of the way, this harness is pulled back and out of the way, now we can start removing this. So for your radiator fans, it's just two bolts. There's one right here, that's an 8mm, and then followed by the other side. This one's a little bit more difficult to get to, but it's right there, right by this tab. One 8mm, two 8mm, and then these fans should pop out and then pull up. You might have to finagle with it a little bit, but you'll see it. So be patient. These ears and stuff like that are going to go around that hose. This is going to hit kind of the front of the header part. So just be patient, kind of find out where it's hanging up, and then it'll pull right out. Okay, so once you're at the point where you take your radiator fans out, got a ton more room. Definitely a lot of room to work with. So this reservoir, you're going to want to pull it out and just basically pull it around this reservoir, just so your hose is like this and snake through here. What that's going to do is allow you to have a little bit more room straight down, because we're going to have to loosen the serpentine belt. Right there is your tensioner. You're going to have a, I want to say it's 3/8 drive. You can use a ratchet. I'll show you what I use. If you've seen my motor mount video for my Cadillac, you're going to see that that's where I actually got this tool, but I use it for other things too. So you're going to put on that tensioner. You're going to take off the serpentine belt right off the pulley of the alternator. All right, and right here is the tool. I told you I use this for everything. If you watched my video with this tool for me using it for the motor mounts, leave a comment down in the bottom. I told you I use this for everything. Definitely bendable and stuff like that. Now, I'll leave a link down in the description for this tool. It actually comes in really handy. With that head being so flat and low profile, it actually fits in here really well. A lot of tools, you're not going to be able to do that unless you have another one of these tools that are designed for this. So it fits right in there. Let's see if I can get a good view. Right there. So right next to it is, to the left is the frame. And then that's the groove that it went in for the tensioner. I'll leave a link in the description for this tool. So you're going to want to basically just pull the tensioner back and take off the belt off that. Try to avoid taking it off any other pulleys just so you don't have to refish it, but if you do, not the end of the world. It's just a pain in the butt. So you're only going to really want to take it off that pulley. Alright, real quick note. Again, this is why I like this tool. It's real bendable. It's pretty stiff, don't get me wrong, but it's bendable. So I have to go towards me to loosen up the belt. And with that, I was hitting right here with that bar. So I bent it so that I can go under here, this lip, just that much more so that I can get the belt off the pulley. See that? That's why I love this tool. I use this tool for many different things. It's just real handy. You can get it into anything. Again, that motor mount video, this thing came in super clutch. So go ahead and I'm gonna go down here and pop it off, and I'll walk you through the next steps. All right, once the belt's off, way down under here, underneath the alternator, you're gonna see this wire harness right here, okay? It's connected to this plug. Follow this all the way down. You'll feel it underneath, all the way down as far as you can, and you'll feel, eventually you'll feel a plug meet. You're gonna want to unplug that. Okay, it's gonna be a 2-prong. Nothing special, no crazy red tab or nothing. Just push that in there and pull it out. After that, you got this one. Go ahead and unplug that one as well. Again, nothing crazy with that one. Just push it, pull it out. After that, the next step is to take off the positive terminal. All right, for this positive terminal, this right here, it's a 12 millimeter. I don't really like to use the impact on these, so just do it with a hand ratchet. All right, once you got that positive terminal off, right here on the corner of your valve cover, you'll see this. That just, it's on a screw. It's not screwed on, just yank it up. And then pull your harness up through there, that way it's out of the way. The next step are the mounting bolts for the alternator, and then we should be good to pull it out. Alright, for this very first bolt, it's a top bolt. It's a 15 millimeter. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's a pain in the ass to get to. I had to use a breaker bar, unless, I mean, you could probably put a wrench on this. However, you're gonna feel most of the threads on it, and then it's a nut that's on those, but it's a 15 millimeter. If you feel down there, you'll feel the threads in the nut. So take that one off, and then there's one more at the bottom. But like I said, it's a bitch to get to. It's tight, so I'm just gonna go ahead and loosen it and get it out of there, and I'll show you it. All right, guys. If I were to tell you this was not a pain in the ass, I would be lying to you, and that wouldn't be fair to you. So I'm gonna be honest, it is. Now, I went through a series of different trial and errors of combination of tools. I'm gonna show you what helped me, and then I'll show you where it is. I have this stubby ratchet. This stubby ratchet was enough to get in there and not hit nothing when I swing. And then I put a 1/2-inch drive socket on there with a small extension, so I can slide it over the handle, and then I can still have just ever so much to move this to where I can break that thing loose. Now, it could have been just my bolt in particular, but it was very hard to get out. So I tried narrowing it down. Let me see if I can focus back in on it. Right there is the bolt. I'll go ahead and circle it right here. It's underneath, it's on the back side. It's actually, for a little tip, your tensioner, it's right behind the tensioner. You're going to have to pull your tensioner back a little bit just so it moves out of the way, and then you can access the bolt. It is a 15 millimeter as well. Like I said, a wrench would have worked, but mine are thin and it started really cutting into my fingers. Again, mine was it was on there pretty tight, so maybe yours isn't on there as tight as what mine was. So however you need to, 15 millimeter bottom bolt. I already showed, or the top one, I already got that off. That's a nut. Like I said, the threads, once I broke that loose, I just loosened it right off, no issue. Leave the tensioner thing on there because you're going to have to maneuver that, like I said, to get that last one. But so it is, this one is a bolt, the one on the bottom, so it will come out and probably hit the frame. You're just going to have to maneuver it and get it out. I've already got it out. I put it back in just so I can show you guys where it's at, because it was a lot easier to show you the bolt sticking out than trying to point and you guys not see nothing. So from that point, go ahead and pull that out and you should be free. Take your alternator out and you have it. All right, and there it is. So for a better look on what's going on, go ahead and pause this or replay this portion, because I'm telling you, it's going to help you out when you're looking for the bolts. So just to mimic how it was placed just like this. So right here, the threads are going to go through, and on this side is going to be that nut, and then on the bottom, that's where that bolt's going to be. Okay, this is the size of the bolt. It's going to go straight through like that. Okay, you're going to, loosen it out and go from there. So they also have this cutout section. Like I said, you're going to hit frame over here. They got this cutout section. So once you get it kind of aligned, you can go like this inside the frame and then start pulling it in. Or right when you get right past it, you can angle it up out of the way of the frame and extract it that way. Then, as you can tell, when it's cradled, it's going to have like obviously a piece that's mounted to the block. It's going to be in here. It's going to fit in here like a sleeve. So you're going to want to yank from the bottom. Okay, if it's in there like this, you can fit your fingers underneath there, and then you're going to pull up. When you pull up on the bottom and it swings, then you can go this way and slide it off the threads. I hope that makes sense. You're going to flip it up and go this way to pull it off the threads, and then fish it out of here. Now be careful of your fins and stuff on your radiator. Kind of favor over here towards the motor side, but kind of bring it up through here and fit it right out the slot. And then at that point, it's the reverse steps to put it back in. So I'll go ahead and I'll videotape that, but I'll probably be more skimmed through. All right, took a little bit of work, but now I got the bolt in there, we got the nut in there. It went a little faster than before. I put it on there pretty tight, but definitely not extremely tight, because just in case I have to go back through it, I don't want to do that again. But believe me, it's on there tight. Now you fish out your harness, then you feed it back down through there. Remember, you have a plug that goes on the alternator and then one that goes clear under it, and then your positive terminal right here. So go ahead and feed that down in there, and then once you got those connected, remember, put this back on that bolt right on that valve cover right about there. Got everything all plugged in. Got the 12 millimeter nut holding on the power terminal, and then I installed the Serpentine belt. Again, take a flashlight, look through there, make sure all of your ribs on your belt are aligned on your pulleys and nothing's off, because you don't want your belt popping off and you have to go through this again. So triple, quadruple check if you have to make sure your belt is all the way aligned on your pulleys. So next, after that, we are going to reinstall the radiator fans. Drop back down in there. You're going to feel that along this frame it's going to kind of rest and then clip in, and then you'll go ahead and put your 8 millimeters back on those ears. All right, radiator fans are installed. Remember to plug in your ballast. Next, go ahead and re-secure your harness, starting with that one, and then just follow these little things and then just kind of see about where it goes. Go ahead and put that all on there. And after that, you can go ahead and pull your radiator hose over and stick it down in this little support groove. Put your reservoir back on there with the two 8mm there and the 8mm here that connects the two reservoirs. All right, once you bolt up your reservoir, make sure everything's tight, and then don't forget this hose. Put that on there, put the clamp on, and after that, the last thing, well, kinda, don't forget your engine cover if you have one, if you want it on. Doesn't really do too much, but you took it off. So then go ahead and hook up your negative terminal, and at that point you should be done and ready to rock. Like I said, honestly, it's a pain in the butt. I'm gonna be honest with you, but definitely doable. One of the tools that really helped out was that thin, what do they call it, Serpentine belt wrench. The one that I talked about, how I did my motor mounts and stuff with. That thing works wonders. I had to bend the handle so it goes under the radiator support and gives you that much more for your belt to be put back on your pulleys. Other than that, that bolt, the bottom bolt, that bottom bolt as a tip, right underneath there, here, this wheel, pull that fender liner back a little bit, probably down here, just pull it back a little bit. You can see up in there, when you go to put that alternator on, line up those holes, because there's a slot to it, so you can't swing it onto the bolt. You have to line it up first. Once you put it in there, you should be good to go. Bolt everything up. There's a plug that's underneath. Remember that one that's all the way underneath the alternator? Before you put the new one back in, make sure that that is accessible, because I put it all back together and I wasted, you know, countless minutes, maybe even over an hour trying to mess with that, find that plug, and then I had to take it back off. I found the plug, and then it came off its little bracket, so I had to clean it, put it back on the bracket, all kinds of stuff. But double check everything before you put it together, because it's kind of a pain in the butt, like I said. Also, it's doable. So I hope any of my videos, my tips, my instructions and stuff like that helps you out and gets you back on the road. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, leave them down in the comments below. If you had any tips or you've done it before, definitely leave them down below. If there's any time for some helpful hints and tips, it's now. Because whoever needs this, could be you, could be the next person, but whoever needs this, it would be beneficial if they can find out as much information as they can before they tackle it. But definitely doable. I say if I had no problem, no issues, I had the part here, stuff like that, I'd say at least a 2-hour job, pretty easy. Maybe a little bit more, depending on how easy you are with things. And so, yeah. Well, that's about it. So I really appreciate the support and the view, and hope it helps you out. Till next time.